This is one of my earlier games, as you can see here. 2009, 2010. Can't say this was like my earliest game, but this was one of my early SDO games. But yeah, this is a little Legend of Tux game that I developed. You can actually download it on SourceForge if you go to levidsmith.com. Yeah, if you go to the Legend of Tux page, I got it linked right here. Download the game on SourceForge, and you can just go to Files. Let's see, last update was 2015, and it was registered in 2009. So I'm thinking this was like this was after I actually even finished my master's degree. It's like my whole history is like kind of a blur now. I'm trying to think of when I actually developed this. So this is actually after I finished my master's. So I would like go up to Panera on Fridays or Saturdays and take my laptop up there and work on this. Or I think I'd work more on my Tetris City game, which I may do a gameplay video of later. But you can go to Lotux 08 stable. And yeah, I was able to just like download the zip and extract that and run the Lotux file, and all the SDL stuff and everything just works, which is pretty neat. Yeah, so this is Legend of Tux. I remember I did the main graphic there in Blender and made a simple menu here. I didn't do any of the music myself. It's like all classical, free, not freeware, but like music where the copyright has expired because the author has been dead for like over 72 or 92 years. So yeah, this was like my little Mega Man type select screen, so you'd be able to select one of 8 levels to go to. Let's go to Flameland. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so you got Tux, and he starts out with the sword. I'm trying to think now. It's been so long. Somehow I had this like what was that RPG where you could get the different orb fields? Oh, it was not Chrono Cross. So it's supposed to be kind of like Chrono Cross, where you could get these orbs, and you can see their eyes pop out as you hit them. But yeah, whatever orb color you have, it lets you have extra power against that same color of enemies. So yeah, all of the Tux there and the enemies were all modeled by me in Blender, and then I just exported the different frames. I exported the frames into sprites, so a lot of these just have 2 sprites, the enemies at least. It's like before I knew about animation and everything, how to do animation in Blender. So yeah, whenever they get hit, their eyes pop out. But you can charge, so I kind of took this from Secret of Mana, where how you can charge up. And that will, what is it? The formation of the projectile, the snowball thing. Got that from Jackal. So you can power it up 3 times. If you power to the 3rd time, then it shoots off in 4 directions. So yeah, the backgrounds are kind of plain. I know I probably downloaded that image somewhere. Or maybe I generated that in GIMP. And I used the Make Seamless or something on it. I don't know where the block colors came from. But yeah, I even have like a little timer right there. That's kind of neat. So like the time really doesn't do anything for you, but you can try to get the best score or best time. But yeah, the enemy AI isn't great. I mean, anyone out there who's starting to make games, this is a good way to start. Just get your character moving around, get them attacking, get it when you hit an enemy, then they Maybe add like recoil right there. Don't let... Another important thing is don't let... once your weapon collides with the enemy, don't let it hit the enemy multiple times if it takes multiple hits to kill the enemy. Wow. Almost dead. Yeah, apparently I didn't give myself any way to restore health, which is kind of unfortunate. I do like the little power-up right there, though. That's pretty nifty. Yeah, get it where the enemies can bounce off the walls. Now, I think these enemies don't ever change direction. I got the Zelda-style scrolling working. Do these guys ever change their direction? I think they just bounce. So they'll never, like, sneak up on you. You can pretty much anticipate which way they'll go. But I like my little devils there with the little pitchforks. I think they were kind of cute. There's probably just one or two little balls and probably extruded up little horns. But yeah, learning the basics of how to make sprites. And I think there was a name for this method. It's kind of like what they did in Donkey Kong Country. So they make the 3D models and then they just extract the sprites out of there. Yeah, the sword isn't anything to write home about. He just kind of holds his hand up and the sword pops out. There's no swinging motion or anything like that. I don't know where I got the sound effects at. That might have been me burping or something. I have a feeling that's how I usually make my monster sounds. But yeah, this was probably, I don't know, one of my better games for the time. I mean, it feels like a fully functional game that isn't just... I remember in college I created one game in Allegro called Spelunker. It wasn't that great. It was like a dynamically generated side-scroller. I want to say I made some other like SDL games. I made like a... what was it called? BattleBots? I made a BattleBots type game, but you really couldn't even play it. I think you could just move the robot around in the arena, and that was it. So I really don't even consider that to be a game. This could be considered a game, I would say, because it's got an ending. You can die. It's just a little bit monotonous. I can't believe I have this many levels with no health refills. That's what makes it a little bit worse. But I do remember going through here and making all these little rooms. So 2009, I had to have been 29? Is that right? Yeah, I would have been 29. So, I mean, obviously game development tools have come a long way because kids can make games better than this. And I was 29 at the time. Boy, it doesn't seem like... Time just flies when you get older. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But yeah, it's 2018 now. So yeah, this was 10 years ago and I'm 39 now. So I guess I am kind of impressed with my game development skills. Even though I haven't done a lot of Allegro or SDL lately. A lot of the concepts are the same. But this was in C. So you got to do all your own garbage collection and everything. Boy, these levels are long. I don't remember the levels being this long. But in the other worlds, there are different kinds of enemies, which is nice. I don't know if you can go back. I'm not going to try going back because I don't want to fight a whole nother room of enemies. But yeah, wow, I'm up to 8 minutes now. But yeah, there really needs to be something, different types of enemies, maybe to be able to go up and down, not just to the right every time. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it was. I'm almost dead! Let me get the yellow. How did I get hit that many? Oh no, don't collect that one. Because I got the yellow. So that's one thing that kind of makes this fun. You get the different powers, the different colors, and that helps you defeat the end. So there is a little bit of strategy in this. Oh man. Been nice if there was like a little door opening sound right there. Wow, I made a lot of rooms. So you can see it's running at a blazing 30 frames a second there, which probably wasn't too bad at the time. Before this, I think I'd only done QBasic games. I think. Aside from my BattleBots thing. But I wasn't like going all out making games all the time like I do now. I wasn't making a game a month. This probably took me a few months to make. I mean, I would put it down and then come back to it a month or two later. I don't know how many hours I put into making this game. But I can't remember if these enemies are just like randomly spawn in the world or if I actually laid out the enemies too. I don't remember ever like writing a map editor or anything like that. Man, I wish I had put some health regeneration in here. But I guess this is one of those cases where I got so good at my game, I was like, I don't need any extra health. It is actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it. But once I get to the room with... here it is. Oh my goodness. The music changes too. I like the music. I'm pretty sure I didn't compose that myself. I'll get the red orb. Man. This is like an old school game where it feels like it really pays off when you get to the final room. Yeah, I'd originally intended for this to be the boss battle room, but never did do any bosses. I like the whistling. Yeah, I would have no idea where I got this music. I died! Thanks for playing this proof of... I like my little tux right there. Yeah, I don't have legendoftux.com anymore. I got rid of it. So basically all these are just a static image in the background. And what, like 5 enemies on each screen? And maybe I just made it so that the enemies didn't spawn inside. This is weird music. Cause it seems like I used to have like other classical music. Maybe some of these levels I didn't have classical music. Oh man. Now this looks like the same as the last level. Man, I put a lot of work into making these different levels. can't believe it's been this long since I made this game. It feels long, but it doesn't feel long. That's the weird thing about it. It feels like I created this in high school. This feels like one of my high school games. But I guess in high school I'd only done QBasic. That's wild. Because, you know, kids these days have got Game Maker and everything. Kids these days, back in my day, we only had QBasic. And we drew lines individually and we liked it. And we used paint fills and we liked it. So yeah, this was 10 years ago. Or 9 years ago. Wait, I'm getting confused now. Yeah, not 9 or 8 years ago. So I would have made this after I moved to Tennessee. I like how their eyes pop out. And I do like the color system. It's just, I wish there was more of a, oh man. I wish there was more of a variety of enemies. And this is like serious Resident Evil. You don't get any health pickups. I do like how I made the blocks rounded on the corners. I think it automatically rounds the corners for you. I remember in college I did make a game called Mind Trial. I may do a gameplay video of that sometime. It was just Trivial Pursuit written in Java. But it seems like I did some other SDL. Seems like I did some other SDL games. I just don't remember. I did Tetra City. I did do a few just simple Java games back in college. It seems like I did some Allegro stuff. I remember doing Conway's Game of Life in Allegro. Can't think of any other. And I did the Spelunker game, which wasn't much. It used like sprites ripped out of Contra, Super Contra. See, I really wasn't good at doing original, but this was like the first game where I did all the graphics for the enemies and the hero. As simplistic as they are. Although I didn't do the music or the background image. I think this was just like a NASA picture of the moon. Some stock NASA picture. Oh man, I should have picked that up. Should have kept my yellow. But I mean, this is kind of fun to play. I mean, just to kill time. I mean, it's fun enough where I can play through it and talk at the same time. I'm wondering if I still have all these Blender models somewhere. I could, like, animate these guys. Now that I know now what I didn't know then. I think that was a country song. Might have been Billy Ray Cyrus. What I didn't know now is what I didn't know then. Or something like that. But yeah, I could, because the models weren't that bad. I mean, I just have to go back and rig them up and animate them. I spent a lot of time, apparently, making all 8 levels, 8 stages. I just wish I'd just took the time to add going up and going down toward different rooms. It would have made it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, the room transitions seem to be really smooth, and for a game that uses no like graphics acceleration, I don't know if they ever made SDL where it like takes advantage of your graphics card. Yeah, I don't know what this music is. It sounds like Kilroy, Kilroy. Yeah, I think I remember talking to somebody about having like the different... I think that's how the demon started, is going to be the FreeBSD demon. But then I just started making whatever critters I wanted to make. But yeah, it's kind of fun to look back. I mean... back when I didn't really even know how to animate a Blender model. I just knew how to move the feet on Tux right there, and that's basically it. Oh, I don't have the zeros on the time. But this is a fairly lengthy game. Each stage is like 8 minutes. Oh, I don't want the bread. I'm not trying going back. Oh, here's the boss stage. I love that music. Okay, there's a yellow. So the trick is to kill, defeat, whatever, all the same color that you can at once. Because without the orb of that color, it takes 3 hits, which makes it that much longer. I wish these guys would like... it'd be a little bit more fun if these guys kind of like change direction every couple of seconds. Kind of like that. That's like the basic Octorok AI. Have them go in one direction, then after 2 seconds change direction. Okay. Yay, level complete. Now is that the game or... okay, so after I beat one level, it turns the world sphere just blank gray. I think yeah, Frostland was the first world that I did. Because I remember like Snowmen and Tux, the theme kind of went together, I guess. But this was a classical song here. I think, was this Four Seasons? I remember the stage select was Brahms' Lullaby? Not Brahms' Lullaby, the Brahms Hungarian Dance, number 5, I think. I guess the one thing I don't like about this is... oh yeah, I remember that was probably a Buzz right there. Yellow jacket. You can see I can see the 2 wings there and the head. It's like making levels, I just think of a picture and draw the picture. Oh, this is like the Zell's commercial music. This is actually not... when I'm making these games, I think they're more horrible than they actually are, if that makes sense. I mean, this isn't something I would sell for money or anything, but I usually think what I make is horrible. But this is just kind of fun to kick around with. I mean, I wouldn't want to play this every day or anything, but after 9 years, it's kind of fun to pick up again and make a developer commentary video. I guess the one thing, the charge up really doesn't... I really don't use it. Seems like it's more effort to charge up. I think the charge up should be a lot faster. Oh, so I use the Secret of Mana charge up mechanic, I guess. but I used the Super Mario 3 little icons. The little arrow icons. I don't know if you can see those up at the top. So it's kind of just like a mishmash of a bunch of games that I'd played. I wish it gave me an extra life meter thing after I defeated the last level. That would help. But I remember I wanted to keep this kind of Mega Man style, where you got to select which level you went to. So it was like all levels were kind of equal. It isn't like, oh, you got to play these in order. So the one bad thing about giving people an extra life bar or fish after each level is that it will make the later levels a lot easier. But once you kind of get a handle on this game, it's really not too difficult. Especially once you figure out that the enemies never change direction, they only bump off the walls. Because this is kind of like doing a perfect run right now so far. 3 minutes into this. Now, what I'm curious about is, did I make... What happens after I beat all the levels? I cannot remember if I ever made like a final... I think it probably just looks like the game over screen, which I saw a little bit earlier. But yeah, this is pretty brutal. It's like you lose, you die once, you start all the way over from the beginning. So if I die again, I probably won't make it to the end. I'll leave that as an exercise to the students to finish this game. Got one more yellow up here. Oh, well, I wonder if I did gamepad support for this. I'm going to check that out. So right now I'm playing with keyboard. Yeah, and it would have been nice if like the enemy AI was different for each type of enemy. So basically it's just a sprite swap for all the enemies on it. So basically each stage is a sprite swap. Gamepad. What in the world? It's a boomerang! I didn't know about that. It's a Red Hat Linux hat. It's a blue hat. It's the blue hat hacker. So yeah, I'm using my gamepad now, and I wonder if that was like Control or Z, or I don't know what that was mapped to on the keyboard, or if it's even mapped to anything. Does this stun the enemies? It stuns the enemies. I vaguely remember adding a hat, but I don't remember ever implementing it fully. Oh, I don't need that one. Well, that makes this game a little bit easier when you hit them with the hat. Is there any other cool things that I have? Do I have any other cool toys? I do like the classical music on this one a little bit better. It's not as weird. Oh man, I can't get to that other blue one. So there is a little bit of strategy. It's like, how do I kill this guy here? If I kill this guy here, then I'll lose my power up to get around to the other guys. Oh, but one thing that does bug me about this is Tux's eyes. He kind of looks like a zombie. I should have done like the Mega Man eye blinking. Look at that! I threw the hat in the other room and it stayed at the current location according to room coordinates. So it came out the other side. That's awesome. It's like little things like that you don't ever think about. But things you gotta fix. The actual boomerang feels pretty solid, like a boomerang that you would get in Legend of Zelda. I just wish I had the power-ups. It's like I should have had it where you could power it up twice. Maybe these are things that I'll add to the next incarnation of whatever Zelda style game that I like this. Watch this. Then it'll come from there all the way back here. It's awesome. Each level takes at least 9 or 10 minutes. There's 8 levels. I wonder if anybody's ever done a gameplay video of this, aside from the one that I'm doing right now. Yeah, I can't believe this was 9 years ago. This would be a little bit more fun if the levels were laid out where you can go up and down. I wonder if that's supposed to be like a toilet bowl or something. I don't know what I was thinking there. But yeah, something like this I could do in a weekend. I mean, at least the gameplay and the graphics. Now, I'm always really bad at level design. Oh, here we go. I hate making levels. I just find it so arbitrary, and I guess there is some skill making good levels. Especially like when you get power-ups and forcing players to take certain turns and things like that. I know Metroid always had really good level design. But yeah, the boomerang, I'm just calling it the boomerang, makes it so much easier. Then just stun anybody that's in my way, and I don't have to worry about getting hit. Spacebar, and just press attack to continue. Just do Mechland. Is this this kind of looks like the background I used for Turn Back the Clocks 4. Oh no, it's slowing down! No, must have hit a memory leak! This is so disappointing. Oh, it cleared up. Cleared up. Cleared up. It cleared up. We're good. We're good. We're good. Just had to do some garbage collection there, apparently. I was about to say, I was going to be upset to finish 2 levels. Boy. Look, the number one thing whenever I put a game out on Xbox or somewhere, people ask me, it's like, oh, does it have continue or a save? It's like, we didn't have saves when I was a kid. We played through the whole darn thing. No, well, we had passwords, so. The thing about saves is it introduces like a lot more things you got to check for. And typically, it isn't worth it. You got to write like a parser to parse out your data. I know they got like serializable objects now and everything, but it's just an extra level of complexity that I usually don't like worrying about. So that's obviously a plug. Electrical plug. And I'm kind of glad that I'm going through all these old games. I know, yeah, I won't be here forever, so it's good to have like some recording of these old games that I developed where I'm talking about them and trying to remember what I did. Now that's obviously an airplane, I think. The background is. But yeah, again, I didn't do any of this music. I don't know where the music came from. It might have been off Napster or somewhere for all I know. Seems like these levels are going a little bit faster. Maybe I'm getting better. I'm not doing as much charging. I can really anticipate where the enemies are going. I'm really taking advantage of the different colors, using the power orb that matches the enemy's colors. I think that's a card. I think this is a gun. It's really nice when you get a lot of the same color in a room. But like right here, it's like, can I go around that? Yeah. And I don't think the power-ups ever go away. So you just like save them for when you need them. I think this was a mouse. A mouse with 2 buttons. Oh no, slow down. Why do you slow down? Hopefully it'll clear up again. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, I don't know why it has random slowdown. Apparently something's getting over allocated, but it isn't like it happens when I actually do something. It's just random slowdown. I know Zelda for the NES had slowdown when it got like 8 enemies on one row. I think all NES games did that. You get too many things going on the same row, then it overloads. So it actually really does feel like Zelda with the slowdown. So yeah, this was like an on-off switch. Now, I really would like to look at the code. I think this is all open source. So anybody can go out there and look at the code. I'm not promising that the code looks very good or anything. But yeah, this was pretty good for a game that was developed before Game Maker, or at least before Game Maker became popular. Probably before Unity. I don't know if Unreal Engine was around, but there wasn't as many 2D tools. It was basically Allegro and SDL. That was it. You didn't have any of this GUI. I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is supposed to be either. I like the sound effects. I don't know how I made the sound effects, because I definitely didn't know about BFXR back then. That was before my BFXR days. But yeah, got big Memorial Day coming up. Going to take some days off pretty soon. Oh, that's obviously an NES control pad. Oh no, slow down! But I've noticed I'm not even using my boomerang hat, the blue hat, anymore. Yeah, the sword definitely has a really big collision box. Are the enemies speeding up? So yeah, this was supposed to be like a, I don't know, robot with one wheel. If you're wondering what that enemy is. I forget what this was supposed to be. Something. I don't know what this one was. But yeah, Mechland, the mech robots. I think that's what I called it, Mechland. But yeah, the shooting's pretty much... I probably should have put the shooting on its own button. Maybe had magic that refilled over time. It must have been like glasses or something, I'm thinking. And a nose. Boy, this is a very long game. I give anyone who's finished this game a lot of credit. But yeah, it isn't too hard once you know the enemies go in a certain set pattern. Supposed to be like a mushroom or something, I don't know. Or a tree, probably. I don't know why I would have a tree in Mechland though. Oh man. Should have used my boomerang right there. Woo! Look at all of them I stunned. Some elite skills right there. And I haven't lost any health on this level yet. I get one more blue. I wonder if it gives me any special message for being perfect. Nope. Okay. Let's do Stone Land. I like these little golem guys I made. They're pretty cool. This music's gonna get on my nerves fast. Gotta turn it down. Cause the songs with the very small loops wear out really quickly. I like the jazzy sound, but I think I probably got the textures for these worlds, for this background at least. I know what that is. That's an Atlanta Falcon logo right there. I got the textures from the default GIMP set of textures, I'm pretty sure. Got hit. See, the one thing I do like about this is like when you get hit, it matters a lot. Because you don't get any health back. I should make more use of my boomerang hat. I don't know why I didn't make it a red hat. Maybe I thought there was copyright issues or something. I don't know. I am kind of impressed with how solid the boomerang feels. Feels just like Zelda. Oh boy. I don't know what that is. I'm about to play some of my Xbox Live indie games, or at least the two and a half that I made. Resistor, and I don't think I've ever done a commentary on TTY GFX Adventure. I just never got around to it. Like hooking up, because I had to play it on the Xbox 3. I guess I could have done a PC build, but the PC build doesn't even work anymore. So I had to redo it in Mono Develop. The PC version doesn't work using the XNA version, but the Mono Develop. The new version that I did in Mono Develop, which it seems like it didn't take that much effort to convert TTY GFX Adventure from XNA to mono game. Seems like there were some tricks, but nothing too horrible. I wish these enemies moved or moved their feet or something. It would have been a nice touch. This must have been like Pac-Man or something. I don't know. Must have been playing Pac-Man. Yeah, so this was Stone World. These are supposed to be stone golems. Don't know what this is supposed to be. It looks like one guy's stuck. Oh man, come here, yellow guy. Yellow guy! Red. And the blue. I think this was a kitty face. Looks like it at least. Seems like I always had a kitty face in all my games. Yeah, I guess 10 years is a long time. It's like I'm on my 4th 10-year, going into my 4th 10-year set. Or actually, I've completed my 4th 10-year. I'm about to complete my 4th 10-year. But it's like the first few years you don't really, I don't remember much about. 0 to 3 or 4 really. My first memories start around kindergarten. Getting on the bus for the first time to go to school. Learning letter, which I actually already knew, like the letters and everything before I got to kindergarten. Yeah, school was always kind of weird because everyone was coming in at different levels. Is like I already knew colors and everything before I got to the 1st grade, but we had to learn that anyway. Seems like around, I don't know if I knew my multiplication tables. I probably didn't learn those until like 2nd grade. Seems like around 2nd grade I had to actually start trying. It's like, uh-oh, I don't know how to do multiplication and division. I gotta actually learn how to do that here. Then when you get to middle school, which I know a lot of places have like junior high now and all that, but our middle school was 5th grade to 8th grade. And, no, 6th grade to 8th grade, 3 years. 6, 7, 8. And you get in there, like, that's when I first started having, like, a teacher specifically for each subject. Now, in elementary school, I remember that there were some times we would switch classes to go to a different teacher for, like, English, which we called language. And then I think I had like somebody specifically for history or social studies. Trying to think. And of course, physical education. We always had someone specifically for phys ed. And art. We had a specific art teacher. But in middle schools, when you start having like 6 different teachers. 1 teacher for each subject. And you had homeroom, which was kind of like everybody. They just mix everybody in homeroom. I guess it's kind of like the making sure everybody was the same. But I remember in elementary school, I was in something called Program Challenge. It was kind of like the accelerated thing. And I was also in speech, which I don't know how much that helped me in the long run. But I was in Program Challenge, I was in speech. And I think I was even in speech in middle school. But I was also in the band too in middle school. Not a marching band, just like concert band played trombone. Not sure why I picked the trombone. I guess I just thought it was a cool instrument. You didn't have the buttons. You had the thing you could pull in and out. I guess kind of like, hey, you have the ability to play all these intermediate notes that nobody else can play, that only has keys. But yeah, I get the old trombone out. I actually got my own when I got to high school for marching band. Got a Jupiter trombone. The slide's kind of knocked up and bumped up where it's hard to move it around and everything. Uh-oh. Right then, get blue guy. Get the blue guy. Oh, I messed up on the boomerang throw there. Crap. 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 I don't think I've ever played this all the way through since, like, adding the boss room and everything. Might have actually started this earlier than 2009. That might just be the date that I have on, like, the latest build there. I don't know. I mean, on SourceForge it did say it was created or the SourceForge project was created in 2009, and of course that was long before I knew anything about source code control and everything. But I think I did check in all the code. I remember I found out about Linux in college, so that would have been around 1999. Lost Flameland. Let's do Bolt. Little Starman guys. But yeah, you got to watch out now. You can't say too much about like your teachers or anything, because those are now security questions. Like, oh, name your 5th grade math teacher. Like, oh, now somebody has access to my bank account. It's like, no. Yeah, especially things like hometown and like the name of your college or your high school mascot. It's like if you know where somebody went to, I mean, I guess it filters out a lot of just like people that are trying to do bad things. Like, they're not going to take the time to look up where you went to high school and what the mascot of that high school is. But I know a lot of those security questions, like none of them apply to me. It's like, oh, what's the middle name of your first born or second child? Like, don't have any. And like, what about your mother's brothers? Like, don't have one. Yeah, hopefully they end up getting away from security questions. I think that's kind of a loser right there for security. But yeah. So in high school, I was in the AP classes. I actually made all A's all throughout high school. Finished salutatorian. I've probably talked about this before. But there were multiple salutatorians, people that made all A's. But somehow they picked one person because they took 2 AP classes. I forget how many. Seems like one person took one more AP class than everybody else, and they became valedictorian. But I remember I took AP History, U.S. History. I took AP, not Biology, what was the other one? Chemistry. Took AP Calculus. U.S. History, Calculus, Chemistry. So that would have been 3 AP classes, but I only took the test for 1. And I think I actually did make a grade so I could skip it. But I was like, I'm going to go ahead and take it again anyway, because that's going to be an easy A in college. So I was all about having a good GPA. Because I knew there was going to be other classes that were going to be a lot harder. But yeah, when I got into physics at Georgia Tech, I was just completely lost. Now, I did have a physics class in high school. I didn't get into like the smarty pants physics for whatever reason. There's like 2 different types of physics. But when I got to college, when I got to Georgia Tech, kinematics. I had a really hard time in kinematics. I remember I had like I had a lab partner named Josh Litherland. I don't know if he's still out there or not, but he was the guy that really got me into Linux, I'm pretty sure, because he was like another computing guy in the physics at Georgia Tech. So that's pretty cool. I was like, okay, at least there's some other guy here that likes computers like me. So yeah, he helped me out a lot with the labs and everything. I hated doing labs. It's like, just let me do the test and read. Actually, I didn't like reading either. I like doing projects. I didn't like labs. Especially those stupid kinematics labs. I was completely lost. But EMAG, electromagnetism, was the second physics class at Georgia Tech. And I found it to be a lot easier than kinematics, or whatever the first one was called. I don't know, it just made more sense to me. I mean, I remember you having the left-hand rule, right-hand rule, and all that, and the magnetic flux, and some of it didn't make sense, but it seems like I had an easier time than trying to remember all those stupid acceleration equations and all that mess. So yeah, I remember I had a really hard time with the operating systems class. It was like really low level. It's like moving stuff around registers. I guess that's why I got into the NES development. It's like, yeah, I never really did learn all about the operating systems and all the registers and memories and all that. So I think we had to do, was that the class that we did assembly? I think I had a computer engineering course, and that's when I did assembly. And we used an environment called SPIM, which is MIPS spelled backwards. It was like a little MIPS simulator, and that's when I learned assembly. Never really used it since, aside from making NES games for fun. There's like one really easy class that I had at Georgia Tech. It's like a 1-hour class. Basically how to use the library. There was a couple of decent, easy classes, but not many. A lot of them were pretty painful. Especially like the math, the combinatorics, and the linear algebra, differential equations. But it seems like the differential equations wasn't as bad after I had the regular calculus. Oh, this is a key! And this is actually a level that I did in Resistor. The key level. It's like a recurring theme in my games. Okay, shoot that one down there. If I was good, I'd be able to get that yellow on it too. Hey, there we go. But I mean, the good thing is the enemies don't get stuck in walls. So far, there's been that little bit of slowdown for some weird reason. I haven't got stuck myself. So yeah, I have a lot of little programs that I made at Georgia Tech. Most of them were 4 classes. I don't remember. Seems like I had a lot of just like throwaway. The only one that I was like really proud of was that Mine Trial. that I did in Java. The Trivial Pursuit game. That's like probably one of my first fully functional from beginning to end games. The only thing bad about it was that, oh, it's a football! Another recurring themes. I did a football in TV World. I forgot what I was talking about. But, boss battle time. I think the original is going to have like a bigger enemy that you would fight in here for the boss. I can feel the slowdown. Right, there's a red one. Maybe I should go ahead and pick up the red. So I'll start killing off some of these red guys. Give me the red orb! Yeah, it's like kids these days. They don't realize everything that we had to go through just to get a game. Make a simple game like this. Uh-oh, I got hit again. Yeah, I had an object-oriented class. It was pretty good. That's where I learned small talk. Had a languages class. It was good. So I had Mark Guzdial for let's do jungle. Go! Oh, this is really slow. Mark Guzdial for small talk and oh man, I got another going super fast. Then I had Phil Hutto, I think that was his name, for the languages class, the programming languages. I forget what the actual name of the class was, like analysis of languages. Then I had human-computer interaction with, I just did the presentation on Knoxville game design. Was that Guzdial? No, that's Gregory Abald. Yeah, Abald. I think I had Russ Shackelford for the intro to computing, where we did pseudocode and learned how to do trees and parse a tree and all that. It's just kind of a shame they don't teach that type of stuff in high school. It's like, kids should know how to count in binary and hex coming out of high school. I think. Is that a thumbs up or something? Might be like a dragon's head coming out of the wall, like in Zelda 2. Oh crap. Yeah, I had a weird Russian lady in my combinatorics at Georgia Tech. Forgot who I had for statistics. Oh, I had this guy, Eric Bosco, for, I think, differential equations, and he gave everybody a 20 or something on the first exam. So I was like, I need to get out of this class. So I took it again with somebody else and made a B. I was like, okay. Good decision. Yeah, computer graphics was... I think it was a guy with a Mexican Spanish, Izquierda. I wonder if, probably half these professors are dead now. I know I heard something about Abald recently on, the Georgia Tech Twitter account somewhere. Yeah, I had some weird... I had one good easy class that the football players took. It's like, I was in the same class with the second or third string football player. I think his name was Andy Hall. But it was, oh man, it's like some media. It's an LCC course. Literature, Communications, and Culture. Oh man, I knocked all those guys out. And yeah, just like, I remember doing a report about Barry Bonds hitting his 70th home run, I think. Oh man, I remember back in like '98, they had Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. They were both racing to beat some guys, like 61 home runs. Like Sammy Sosa, I think, beat the record first, but then Mark McGwire got the higher overall. I think Mark McGwire got 70. And Sammy Sosa just beat the guy before by a few. Like 66 or something. Forget the name of the guy who had the record before. But now it's like all the records out the record book because they screwed around with the format so much. They added extra games and oh, that's Pac-Man right there. Yeah, they added extra games. They changed the stadiums to make it easier to hit home runs. It's just all messed up now. So it's like nah, none of those old records ever even matter. I think they ended up taking Mark McGwire's records away anyway because they used some hormone or something, growth hormone, something like that. But yeah, Big Mac. They had the Big Mac sign in the outfield for Mark McGwire. But yeah, Barry Bonds. I think I still have a couple of Barry Bonds Topps rookie cards somewhere. I don't think they're worth anything. It's like, I remember back in the day, it's like, wow, he's the new home run. So I think Barry Bonds beat Mark McGwire's record eventually. Home runs hit in the season. I was like, wow, these cards are going to... Oh, it's a ghost! Pac-Man Ghost. I was like, yeah, these cards are going to be worth money. It's like, yeah, nowadays, nobody collects baseball cards. They're probably worth a couple of bucks. If you can find anybody that still collects baseball cards. Oh, no. Gotta be very careful. I think these were supposed to be lizard creatures right here. But they look like little balloon dogs, though. Trying to think of any other interesting Georgia Tech classes. So I was in ESP, Entertainment Software Producers, for like a semester. I attended a few meetings. Oh, and another thing that is Linux related, I was also a member, I guess, of the LUG at GT, Linux Users Group at GT. I think they actually are still active. Subscribe to their mailing list. And I still get stuff from them occasionally. I think they end up just meeting like twice a year to do the Install Fest. I remember that was a big thing. I was like at the very first Linux Install Fest at Georgia Tech. I think they kept doing it. They may still be doing it today. But I remember like years later, like finding the new Georgia Tech Linux Users Group. I guess it's the same group, just different people. And it's like, oh, we're on the 35th biannual Install Fest. I was like, wow, I was at the very first one. At the COC, College of Computing building. But yeah, they had the Linux General Store down the street from Engineers Bookstore, where you could get all your cool Linux PCs and accessories and Tux pillow, what do they call it? Stuffed animals. Get your Tux stuffed animal. But yeah, I think they tore Engineers Bookstore down. It's like, good grief. I mean, that's the place to go to get your cheap used books, textbooks. They changed campus, so I haven't been down to campus in forever. I'm gonna be going down there pretty soon. It's been forever since I've been to a football game in person. It's just too much of a hassle, like trying to go through, and it's hot. The tickets cost too much. You got to deal with the traffic and the parking. It's like I'd rather just stay in Knoxville and watch it at Buffalo Wild Wings with other Georgia Tech alumni. This must have been like a stick man that got his legs chopped off. I remember the last year at Georgia Tech, I finally got in the parking lot, the parking deck, next to the student center. That was so great. I didn't have to walk a mile anymore. It was like wonderful. One of the benefits of being there as a senior or whatever. I had some class where I developed the PDA application for the Palm Pilot. It was like the Palm M something other, M100 I think. I did a little baseball application for tracking baseball or something. And then I did, while I had the Palm device, I got it from the Aware Home. They lent one to me. While I had that, I also did, it was like Yelp before Yelp. I did it for the Palm device. I actually have one in there, which may still be able to run it. I'll have to get that thing out sometime and do a video. But yeah, it's just a proof of concept type thing where you can type in a cuisine or a location and it would give you restaurant information, price. Actually had it where, that's something that hasn't been implemented these days. The ability to reserve through your app. Now you can order through your app these days. When they didn't call it an app on your Palm device. So our proof of concept didn't even have like internet connection or anything. So like I said, it's a proof of concept type deal. But you could reserve through our proof of concept. Oh man. Okay, we've got desert land. Oh, it's the Cactrots, the Cactars. Another like thing that I've used in a lot of my games. I don't know what this music is. Oh man. But yeah, this isn't a bad game just to sit back and kick around with, just to tell stories and stuff like that. I wish I could, I can't grab the orb with the hat. I can't believe I developed this after I finished my master's at UT. It's been 10 years since I finished my master's at UT. So I don't have any interesting stories about UT. It's just, I was there, I took my classes, I did it while I was working a full-time job. I really didn't have any friends or anything. In Georgia Tech, I had like my friends from Douglas County High School. I went to another high school in Douglas County. Yeah, Chris Ingram and Dewey and a couple of I forget the girls' names, but hung out with them quite a bit. That was like my last year at Tech, which was pretty cool. Oh, and I briefly joined a fraternity. Actually, I think I rushed to fraternity. I never did actually was an official member. It was AK Psi. It was like some girl like outside the student center was like, "Hey, you want to join a fraternity?" I was like, oh, "Okay." Like, yeah, we take all fraternities or all majors, but I think it's supposed to be a business fraternity. But they had like one or two computer science people but they wanted a massive time commitment. They wanted you to go to all these dinners and talk. And there was like, I want to say there was like 30 to 50 people in this fraternity. And you had to go around and ask all of them questions. And I remember I went to one of the events. I was talking to some girl. It's like, okay, here's some questions. She didn't like the questions. It's like, okay, what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do here. But I kind of got the feeling that there were people that really didn't want me there. So before the rush was over, I turned in my little pin or whatever. I was like, okay, I got games to write. I got computing stuff to do. It would have been cool if there was like a computing fraternity. at Georgia Tech. I know they got like IEEE. I don't even know if IEEE is still a thing anymore, but I think you can join that, or they got some little engineers group or fraternity or chapter or something like that. But I guess like the Linux users group was kind of like a little fraternity. I mean, we didn't do all the goofy stuff. Oh, and I remember the thing that turned me off about the AK Psi business fraternity is like they had the paddles. And you got to decorate your paddle and put glitter on your paddles. And so this was one of the few fraternities that had both girls and guys, like a co-ed fraternity, which was nice, but it's like, okay, I'm really not into decorating paddles. That's really not my thing. I could be doing better things than decorating paddles. So before I got my paddles, I was like, okay, I'm done. This is where I get off the train. It's at the paddles. But yeah, it seems like it was more like another class because they had all these requirements you had to do. It wasn't laid back like the other computer, like the ESP, Entertainment Software Producers, or the Georgia Tech Linux Users Group. Actually, there was a Knoxville's Linux Users Group as well. That was when I was starting over at UT for my master's. I started there in 2003. So I waited a semester. So I started working up here in May of 2002. Right at, it was like 1 week after I graduated from Georgia Tech, I started working. Then I started UT working on undergrad classes. I had to take some like prerequisites. In winter or spring semester. Seems like they were good. Seems like I kept getting caught in the stupid spring to summer conversion. I think it was always semesters at UT. But I remember like halfway through Georgia Tech, I started under quarters and then I had to switch over to semesters, and so you had to take 2 of one class to make another class. And if you didn't have both classes, you could still like use the quarter hours as electives. Oh, that's one nice thing about UT. I did like an undergrad course for my industrial engineering. It was engineering economy, and I developed a VB application that would do like cash flow. It's still out there on my website somewhere, but it'd do cash flow diagrams and benefit cost analysis and rate of return or depreciation values. But I think the original version only did cash flow diagrams. So for a graduate elective, they let me develop that further and to do those other functions as well. So I got like a full 3 credit hours just for like writing a program, which was pretty cool. But yeah, UT, I mean, I had to take a couple of stupid engineering management classes at the campus in Tullahoma. Well, it's through the campus in Tullahoma, so I had to do those distance. Like taking proctor exams was a pain in the butt, having to be at the UT Conference Center at a certain time. And I remember I forgot my book one time, and I thought I was in trouble, but somebody let me borrow a book. I was really appreciative of that, or else I probably would have flunked the final. But yeah, I got out of UT okay. I think both my undergraduate GPA and graduate at Georgia Tech and my UT was both over 3. It's like a 3.1, so it wasn't enough to be cum laude or anything special like that. I got my degree. They're up here on the wall. I don't know how much I've learned. This is bad to say, but degrees really don't mean much. That, especially these days, I think degrees meant more back in the day. But once they started like giving degrees out for everything, and which I had the Hope Scholarship going to Georgia Tech, very appreciative of that. But your position in life isn't determined by your degree. Pretty much by who you know. And try your best not to get used as a doormat. That's my life advice. Know what your skills are, know what you're worth. Uh-oh, here we go. Definitely know your value, and don't let other people take advantage of you. Know when you have the upper hand. Because when I was going to school, it was always like, okay, if you did your work, you did well on your test, you would always be at the top of the class and everything. But the real world does not work that way. You can't compete with somebody. You can't compete with nepotism. One lesson I learned in the real world: you can't compete with somebody's son or wife or anything like that. So you're already at a disadvantage in the real world, no matter what degree, PhD or whatever you have. You can't compete with other people's friends. You can't compete with the good old boy system. You can't compete with somebody's buddy from college and things like that. You're already starting below that level. You're already behind all the brothers-in-laws and all the college buddies and all that. So the best you'll ever be, unless you like move around, the real thing is to start your own deal. But it's hard to do that. I mean, I've been doing games for quite a while now, and had moderate success. I mean, none of them have really been a financial. My 2 Xbox 360 games made a very small profit, which may had paid my cable bill for 1 month. So definitely you can't live off making games. But yeah, the way to go is to start your own thing, be your own boss. But you got to do it in something that isn't already saturated. Man, I already lost half of a... I remember this was the music from Chromium BSD, which was a very popular Linux game that came bundled with Linux back in the day. Yeah, I have no like real world advice. Just that your job in real life, if you are like fortunate to have a long career at one place, you're just kind of stuck unless you change positions. But I think you get burnt out either way. I think it's better just to stay one place and just be happy than try to continually climb the ladder by jumping around to different places. Oh yeah, so yeah, if you really want to get ahead in life, do your own thing, but you got to have a base first. That's what I always tell people. It's like, get a full-time job, save your money, then use that money to build something of your own. But you don't want to just jump feet first into, hey, I want to be a cookie salesman or something. I don't think you'll ever get ahead. You got to have a mentor, really. Like, if I wanted to be a painter for my career, I would want to get a job somewhere where I'd be learning from someone who's been doing painting for however long, 20 years or whatever. But I can't say, like, with my job, I've ever really learned. I guess I have learned some stuff. But most of the computing, programming stuff I learned in college. I don't know. Just be happy. I mean, that's the best advice. Do something that makes you happy. Which, I don't know, I guess I should take my own advice. Do something that makes me happy. It's really easy, especially after like 16 years of being in the same place, of just feeling like you're in a rut, doing the same thing. Like what you do doesn't matter. I don't know. Aw, Mr. Red! Picked them up in the wrong order. But yeah, that's basically the last 30 or so years of my life. In a nutshell. Oh no, I get hit again! Definitely made a lot of games in the last 5 years. Not all of them are perfect or anything, but I give myself credit for just being able to implement ideas. That's really all that I try to do, is implement an idea. So a lot of my games really aren't full-fledged games that someone would pay money for. They're just, hey, this is what a bag boy game would be like. Hey, this is what a game with first-person shooter with mutant vegetables would be like. And a lot of them I did do for Ludum Dare and the mini LDs and things like that. So that kind of makes you think differently about different types of games to make. I was big into playing games. I was big into World of Warcraft in my 20s. Now, I did meet some nice people through that I've never met face to face, which is kind of sad. But I don't know. Kind of wish I had my 20s back, my mid-20s back, instead of playing World of Warcraft. Which I only played it for a few years. I kept getting burnt out. I didn't like the raid times. And it was like, oh, you got to be here for 5 hours every Friday night. You got to be here for 5 hours, and you got to listen to somebody tell you what to do. And it's like, no, this is not fun. This is a job. I'm not playing a game to be another job. I already have a job. I don't want to farm potions for 2 hours or whatever. Farm herbs for potions to bring to the raid for 2 hours before the raid. Then stay 3 or 4 hours for the actual raid. It was fun when you could just like get a group of 20 people together, go into a dungeon, clear it out. Whatever time you wanted to. Like typically Fridays or whenever. I don't know. Yeah, you look back and it's like, could you have done anything better? I don't know. I can't think of much I could have done better, that I would have done differently. Probably would have played less World of Warcraft and done more game development. Maybe got out and met more people, but I'm not really a people person or anything. I don't know what I would have done differently. I still got a lot. Hopefully, I still got a lot of life ahead of me. But you do kind of feel like, after you get to a certain point, you do feel like you're slowing down. It's like, I know I'll never be an athlete or anything like that. I'll never be a football star. Not that I ever wanted to be one. I remember when I was in middle school and that we had to fill out the form for what you wanted to do when you got older for your career, and I wrote develop computer software. So I guess that turned out the way I expected. Never really thought about doing. I mean, I did have my high school jobs. I worked at Winn-Dixie. That's probably a security question somewhere. Worked at Kroger. That's probably another security question somewhere. Yeah, doing the seafood. Worked in seafood for like a summer at Kroger. That was an interesting job. Knew nothing about cooking seafood. I learned how to like scale fish and cook lobster and cook shrimp. Knew nothing about steaming shrimp. Knew nothing about cooking lobster. And somebody's like, "Hey, I want to steam lobster." I was like, "Okay, I can take them out of the little aquarium here and throw them in the steamer." If that's how you cook them, I don't know. It wasn't a horrible job, but I liked labeling the little packages and using the packager, the fish packaging machine, do the little plastic wrap. That was fun. Did the nightly cleanup, I suppose. I think it did like teach me, like when I did get out on my own, I was like, yeah, I need to clean out the sink every night, or at least when I can. Not let things get too gunked up. Yeah, Winn-Dixie was fun. Met a lot of cool people there. But I was just a bag boy. Never moved up. I remember one time I think somebody asked me if I wanted to run a cash register. Like, nah, I don't want to. I don't want to deal with it. I don't like dealing with people. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Press space. Here's the big moment. You win! Woo! I beat Legend of Tux. Woo! It only took an hour and a half. Oh. Press spacebar. Thanks for playing this proof of concept. Visit legendofTux.com for updates. So basically, I had the same screen for you win as for game over. It just says you win instead of game over. Oh man, this game was rough, but it was fun. I mean, it's like a game that I could just sit back and chill with after I kind of knew what was going on. But it was kind of brutal, like one hit. You couldn't get any health back at all. Version 0.8. Now, in the original version, I had like a snowy background, but I must have took it down because it wasn't Creative Commons or something. I didn't want to get sued or anything, I guess. But I've used like this. Now, the TUX, I actually I seem to remember manually making those and cropping those off and everything. But I think the legend at the top, I think that's a text extruded. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I actually did each one of those individual letters. I'll have to look at the code. Find out. Yeah, here's the exploded files. But I don't see... Oh, I don't have... This is like the sound... But I don't have the C code. Hires? Whoa. Why did I call... Oh, high res. I was about to say, why did I call that hires? Oh, you can't see that. Here's all the image files, the high res. So you got a sword, and the puff of smoke, and the different worlds, and the heart 50%, heart 100%, heart 0. Charge meters, the backgrounds. I actually had this laid out pretty well. Had all the enemies and all the tiles in the background in each individual folder. So basically all I had to do was go in and switch whatever folder it was reading out of. But somewhere I defined the level layout. That must be built into the EXE. I wonder... I should have the source code on here. Make this big R. I should just hide that. Go over here. There. No. Transform. Transform. I don't know what game I had this set to in Twitch. So, people just have to be angry if they're going to be angry. I don't care. It's like, please just detect whatever game I'm playing. Code. See if I have code. I'm going to have to dig this up and see if I can Yeah, I have all the code. Like, got globals. Yeah, 2010. Boy, it seems like this is older than 8 years. Feels like this is 20 years. Damn, all my constants. Using the Nihi lessons! I forgot all about the Nihi lessons on Game Dev. Oh man, those were great lessons. The Nihi lessons. Oh, bringing back so many memories. So here's boomerang.c. Must have been trying to do something with OpenGL in this. Added OpenGL support. Maybe that's why it works on my modern operating system on Windows 10. Might have sped things up or something. Wow. That's pretty cool. This actually isn't bad code here. I actually have everything modularized. Different methods. Draw method. I don't know about putting the draw method in there, but it's probably fine. I'd probably have like a draw boomerang and then a boomerang logic. Oh, here's lowtux.c. That still doesn't look right. I guess it's fine. Except for this is kind of a mess right here. Loading all this gunk in. Low res, high res. I'm curious about the level layouts. Once I find that, I'll be done. It's actually quite a few lines of code. There's the menu. Sound effect. Audio. Credits. Maybe I just have them all defined. Maps.h. There's make release windows. Have a make file. Whoa, that's a lot of lines. 19,000 lines. I must have used some program to generate all these. I probably used Tiled or Mappy or something. I don't know what format this is. But it just created an H file. Well, this is going to kill my processor memory right here. So yeah, I just read all these in. Okay. Where's it at? Where's it at? Okay, that's Legend of Tux. It's out on SourceForge if anybody wants to play it. Not the greatest game in the world, but if you're interested in learning SDL, you might want to check it out. I just looked at the code, and it looked like it's pretty good code. I'm not going to say it's perfect or anything, but if you want to take a peek at it, figure out how to make a penguin move around and swing a sword, things like that. it's out there. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching.